taking your time to come and be with us this morning. We have been wanting to have a press meet like this on our activities, and we thought we should do that as a follow-up in 2021, but because of the pandemic lockdowns, in 2020 we couldn't really move ahead with so much of our agenda on planting fruit trees across the state, and also starting with another state in Manipur. But this year we thought it is good enough for us to at least talk and examine whether we have made progress with the Trees for Wealth movement that we launched in 2019. And there are multiple initiatives of entrepreneurs associates. As you all know, you have been very supportive of EA, and we started with a vision to promote youth self-employment and entrepreneurship and sustainable livelihood in the year 2000. We basically focused on entrepreneurship because in Nagaland, 22 years back, it was not an easy thing for a young person to say that I want to do business. Anybody who took up business was considered as a failure. In fact, if somebody started a shop in the year 2000 and was able to speak fluent English, that was not expected. So if you go to visit some shops and you expect them to know only Nagamese or at the most Hindi, but not English, because business in Nagaland was limited to retail outlet, and you don't expect people who do business to be speaking refined English. Today, 20 years ago, this trend is changing, but still as a society, we Nagas continue to give high priority to government job. We still tend to look down on business, and we still tend to look down on young people who don't want to take up government job, but would like to work in private companies or would like to do some professional works which they want to do. And so I don't have to elaborate, you all know better than me, but we were fighting against that mindset, and we realized way back in the 90s when I was a college student that if we don't get into business, the way Nagas depend only on government job, reducing our economy to government salaried-based economy was not going to take us forward. And today we know that we have 92,000 educated unemployed registered with the government. And we know that Nagaland has the highest youth unemployment rate in the country with about 27%. And that's a worrisome trend because in Nagaland, due to the peculiar history that we have had, from the time Second World War came in to the Indo-Naga conflict, and even post-statehood, the conflict has not been resolved. Even after 25 years of ceasefire, we are yet to see the peace being made, brokered in Nagaland, and because of which Nagaland has been always tagged with the famous tagline, disturbed area. No? And disturbed area meaning that Nagaland, according to the government word, Nagaland is very dangerous. Now, in such a branding, corporate houses have been almost absent in Naga economy. And therefore, government has become the only job provider for the youth. So for us, we need to really promote entrepreneurship. We may not be able to take up medium industries or big industries. We may not be even able to take up small industries, but micro industries with less than 15 crores investment is what even a place like Nagaland with lack of the business ecosystem, we can still survive. And that's what Entrepreneurs Associates have been doing since 22 years. We have trained, mentored, and provided microfinance loan and micro enterprise loan up to 25 lakhs per unit, and we have for a lot of times to farmers and women street vendors and daily wagers, of course, the loans are like 10,000, 20,000, 50,000. But for micro enterprises, it has been even up to 25 lakhs by working with the banks. And we have provided, supported more than 18,000 youth in Nagaland, out of which about 4,000 to 5,000 youth are still taking up entrepreneurial activities, which is generating a direct employment to over 35,000 individuals. And so we are happy with the promotion of entrepreneurship that we have done. But we realize that we need to go beyond just promoting micro enterprises. And so in our first experience with farm-based livelihoods started with plum cultivation in the year 2006. We promoted banana orchards in the year 2004, and we started promoting passion fruit in the year 2003, 4, 5, 6. Unfortunately, passion fruit withered off with the winding up of passion fruit industry in Senapati district, Manipur. But for some time, there was a lull with our initiatives. We did not revisit the fruit trees that we planted in terms of planting plums. 2008, we tried with oranges. Only in 2012-13, when we planted about 1 lakh trees with Tata Trusts for Mithun biofencing. And in 2014, we planted about 35,000 native oak trees, which we call Pedu in Angami Chekasan, and also Prosa. All these tree types, we realized, well, the farmers are not planting more than what the project was supporting them. So we thought, no, we must change our strategy. That's where we stumbled upon planting fruit trees. So in 2014-15, we started planting, trying out with avocado. In 2016-17, we brought in mango, lychee, and if you remember, there was a huge climatic change in Nagaland, leading to the mudslides and flash floods, even in the hills. And so there, in a lot of places, paddy fields were taken away by the mudslides. So we came up with a proposal that, okay, you plant 1 fruit trees, we will give you 1 kg of rice. And so in 2016, 1 kg of rice for 1 fruit tree planted was taken up, and we began to see that the trees began to bear fruit. So in 2016-17, we distributed thousands of persimmons fruit trees, avocados, and plums. Persimmons and avocados, we could see their success only by 2019, 18, 20, which we started in 2014. And that led to the confidence where we thought, okay, let us promote only fruit trees and not just planting any tree, because we found out that when fruit trees give cash income to our farmers, it directly elevates them from poverty. They have more money. And if we can provide them with cash income, on their own, they will plant more trees. And that is how we launched Trees for Wealth movement in the year 2019 with a big slogan of planting 1 billion fruit trees. And of course, understandably, people said, you cannot achieve that. But we had, because of the various experiments we have done, we were very clear that it is achievable. And we took out a model called micro by one, volume by mass. So micro by one is built on the unique land holding system of Nagas. Each family with an average land holding of about 2.5 hectares can easily plant up to 1,000 fruit trees if they so desire. And we thought we will trigger it off with planting 50 trees to let the farmers experiment. And we decided, okay, if in order to enthuse the farmers, they need trees which can bear fruit within 1 year, 2 year space. And that's where we identified Tamarillo, the tree tomato, which is native to Nagaland and which has GI taken for Nagaland state. But when we went into this, we realized that our people were just raising tree tomato only for the sake of a family need. So some families would have 2 trees, 3 trees, but very few individuals actually were raising tamarindo on commercial scale. Interestingly, in 1994, when I was the village students' union president, to raise money for our library, we planted 3 tomato, and we had experienced a good income out of planting 3 tomatoes within 1 year. And so I thought, why not experiment with 3 tomato? We tried with chestnuts, but in 2020, the chestnut seeds that we got from Shillong, we don't know what really happened. In 2019, there was almost 100% germination of seeds. But in 2020, when we bought literally thousands of kgs to be raised as nurseries under our program called Payback Environmentally. No, the project was, during the pandemic lockdowns, we will give 2,000 rupees to daily wagers and street vendors who ran short of money so that they can use to buy rice. And instead of giving us back the money, they can raise the nurseries, the seeds which was supplied by year, and they can pay back us with 3 nurseries, not in cash. So that was a unique model supported by caring friends, and we thought they will sprout. But most probably, because of the pandemic, the farmers in Meghalaya could also have harvested chestnuts before they fully matured. So we almost had huge zero success. In some cases, it sprouted, but it was so disappointing. So in 2021, we went back to street vendors and farmers and said, okay, if this did not sprout, why don't you take up Tamarillo? And that Tamarillo fruit nursery was such a big success. And so last year alone, we have planted more than 2 lakh trees of Tamarillo. And we have built on this unique model where each farmer can start with 50, 40 seedlings. And if they see that it can generate money on their own without us pushing, they will be able to plant more if EA provides the market. So in Zinaboto district, this year, and Peg district where we planted, about 25 to 30% of the fruits are already bearing fruit. We are so excited with it. And by September, October, we hope at least 40% of the trees planted last year will bear fruit. So I think this is going to be a game changer. It can bring income for our farmers. And last year, Entrepreneurs Associates had experimented with food processing on Tamarillo fruits. And I can tell you that the pickle from Tamarillo fruit is really tasty. So we hope we can create such markets. And because of this vision, our experience with persimmon, today persimmon is a rage in at least Peg district. Persimmon saplings are being sold for 200 rupees because on their own farmers are able to buy because they know there is money in persimmon. Avocado, the imagination has not yet been created so much, but for us partnering with the Department of Horticulture, Government of Nagaland, we have undertaken 500 hectares of avocado cultivation in Kohima district. And through Department of Horticulture, again, we have undertaken 500 hectares of increased apple production in Kipri. So I think the process is really set now, and we are very happy to let you know that we have mobilized 12,000 plus farmers on this movement. And before, rather than being late, very soon I hope we will be able to see the results of the fruits that we are planting. We are experimenting with fig tree, which is just right behind me. But we have seen that in 1 year it can bear fruit, and this is the 2nd year in the flower pot. This can be also a game changer because it bears fruit very quickly. Govas of hybrid govas and good native govas can also be a game changer. We know lime, orange, all these are game changers for our economy. And definitely exotic fruits like avocado and persimmon, and including plum. 2020-21 we have experimented, and I hope you get the chance to taste our plum jam today. But plum jams are going to be a hit, I'm telling you. I hope if this can be developed. So we realize that, well, if this is so, if we target to work with 1 million farmers, each planting at least 1,000 fruit trees on an average, after they see the success of fruit trees. In fact, there will be so many farmers who will plant even up to 10,000 fruit trees depending on the land holding they have. But if that be so, 1 million farmers across the northeastern region, and also we want to target northwest Burma, Myanmar. If we can do that, on an average, if each farmer plants 1,000 fruit trees, we are looking at 1 billion fruit trees. We are very hopeful that we will achieve this target before 2050. We have in 2019, when we launched it, we said we'll plant 2 million fruit trees by 2025. We are very confident that we will reach 2 million fruit trees before 2025. Our target is to plant 200 million fruit trees by 2035. Again, we are very confident that we will be able to achieve that because last year, some farmers actually have planted more than 1,000 fruit trees. One of our dropout farmers have actually planted 2,000 fruit trees, Mr. Tejazong, on persimmon and other fruit trees. If you include, it runs to a few thousands. So these are at the moment spread far and wide, but we hope this number will increase over the years. And so for us, if we look at fruit trees, for instance, even stinky beans, we all know that a stinky bean matured fruit tree gives on an average about 15,000 rupees. So some, like Tamarillo plums, may give only 400, 500 rupees per tree, but avocado, persimmon will give much more. So on an average, if we work out with the mathematics of 1,000 rupees per tree for 1 billion fruit trees, we are actually looking at 1 lakh crore economy without having any heavy industries in place, which we all know can harm our environment. So we realize that Trees for Wealth movement is not just for poverty alleviation, not just to create local opportunities, not just to create and fight for environment protection, but it can actually build the confidence that Nagaland and Northeastern region needs so much. We always think that money comes from Delhi, but we now know that through this initiative, we can actually have lots of wealth based on our land holding system. And so this will make Nagaland to become the fruit hub of India. And we have realized that Trees for Wealth movement is a huge bioeconomy which is now being so much talked in the world. In India, it is said that as of now, the bioeconomy is about $70 economy in a year in India. Imagine, even if Nagaland is to partake only 1% of that, 1% of that also is huge for us. That also will be $7 million, which is a good start. And if we can build, and the study has said that by 2025, India's bioeconomy will hit $150 billion. If we take a share of it, even only 1% of it, it's also a good income. But I'm thinking with our Trees for Wealth movement, by 2025, we should at least take 3 to 5% of that estimated $150 billion. And by 2030, if the bioeconomy of India rises up to $500 billion, Nagaland should be able to enjoy at least 7 to 8%, if not 10%. In that case, our Trees for Wealth movement will be galloping in the way that we have not envisioned. And so for us, it is really to create the confidence. It will become part of our reverse urbanization because people, our youth, our farmers will begin to see opportunities in the village level. I have not mentioned here, but with due, I hope he will not mind, one of our old people, he is now 81 years old, just by selling persimmon fruit trees to entrepreneurs associates last year, I think he netted about 6 lakh rupees from our office alone, and then selling it out to farmers, selling his persimmon fruit and also kiwi fruit. We estimate that he has netted about 14 lakhs last year. And he is 81 years old, sitting in the village and just busy making fruit nurseries and selling it. We have few other entrepreneurs who are making, let us say, they don't even know they're entrepreneurs. They're just engaged in raising fruit tree nurseries and selling fruits, but quite a number of them are beginning to earn few lakhs in a year. So I thought this is such an empowering movement we wanted to share with the press, and we wanted to carry this good news to the entire Nagaland. And because Nagaland falls within the region of the 6th hotspots of the world has 25 hotspots, and Nagaland and Northeast is within the 6th rank, which means almost any fruit tree in the world can be grown in our region. And so we thought this is making use of what we have, starting with land, and we have the skill, we have the labor, and we have the minimum capital to start without depending on the government to start. So that activity can not only create farm-based employment, but it will lead to unleashing of employment opportunities in the field of logistics. We will need literally tens of thousands of trucks to transport our fruits from 1 billion fruit trees. We need cold storages, we need warehousing, we need food processing in place, which we think will generate minimum 3 lakhs local job in the entire northeastern region. If we can continue to promote this movement by 2050, Northeast region definitely will be employing 3 million jobs. And the movement has been designed in that manner because in 2020 pandemic, we realized around 2 million Northeastern youths were working in the metros. And many of them had to come back, losing all their jobs and economic income systems. Some people took the challenge to start afresh, but many became frustrated. I think we need to examine and promote that there is huge opportunity in Northeastern region, and the Trees for Wealth movement will give such a hope. Very good. What we have done is, we are now, since we don't have, we are an NGO, we are promoting, we are triggering, but we have limited resources. So we don't have soil testing facility here. But what we did was pick up fruit trees which are native to our state, or to the village, or to the particular area where it has been for years, centuries. If that particular fruit tree is doing well, we tell the farmers to go ahead with the scaling up of the plantations. In fact, in future, if some farmers want to take it up on commercial scale, for example, if they want to plant few thousands of plants, fruit trees, we would advise them to take up proper soil testing, and we want them to also adopt scientific way of developing orchards. We want to look at soil technology as well, but the soil technology is sloping. But then, as of now, if we continue to build on the native platform, I think it's good to go. I will give you an example of kiwi. When we started working with farmers in the year 2004 on kiwi, we absolutely didn't have any idea how kiwi can do well in Nagaland. But when we met one retired clergyman who was raising kiwi, and with success, we requested him if he can give us the saplings, cut-in saplings, and we bought from him at 25 rupees and started distributing. We took up kiwi simply because there is a wild side of kiwi in Naga Hills, the cousin of kiwi. No? Leaves looks very similar. If you cut the fruit, which is about 2 finger size, it looks like kiwi, just like kiwi fruit, but it is not eaten.
Motion, top JEE and NEET Coaching Institute of Kota is now in Dimapur. Faculties study materials and test series from Kota directly. Now students from Nagaland can raise their preparation level right here in Dimapur. Admissions open now.